Hi. So today one of the things that I get asked about more than anything else is contouring. How do you contour? What do you do? And so this is just going to be a contour 101 to talk you through it. So I've contoured this side of my face. And this side I've just put my highlight on. That's what we call the highlight and contour makeup or 3D foundation. Do you see the difference? How lifted my cheek is? How the focus is on my eye. Even though I've done my brightener and everything on both sides, the contour really makes all the difference. So let me just walk you through it. So one thing to remember is contour is supposed to look like a shadow. So all of our contour turns kind of have that look to it. And if you've ever struggled with contours, I know in the past the other contours that I tried to use turned out orange and weird. And so contour is not the same thing as bronzer. Bronzer is supposed to give you a glow and make you look like you've had some sun. Contour is supposed to create shadows and dimension on your face. So we have a lot of different foundation brushes for different things. My favorite one and the one I'm going to be using today is called the Detail Hack. I love it because especially when you're new at it or old at it, it just gives a lot of room for precision for contouring. It's my favorite brush to use to contour with. I know when I first started using it, I used a 30-second hack, which is very similar to the Detail. It's just a bit bigger. This side is meant for your highlight. This side is meant for your contour, but I've seen people do it opposite ways. It's whatever way feels most comfortable to you. The Buffy brush is great if you're looking for full coverage, and you can use the kind of slanted edge of it, and it does really good for packing in your contour, that kind of thing. If you want a super light application, just makeup in general, the BBF, you can use either end to do your contour. And it's my favorite one lately because I like the light application to put my highlight on, but it's good for contouring. When you're looking at things like nose, like I said, it's a preference. Some people use the multitasker, some people use the blend and tap, some people just use, I like to use the side of my contour brush. I'll even show you, you can even use your fingers to do it. So this video is not too long. I'm just going to go into it. So you can kind of see right here, this here is my contour color, and you can kind of see how much ashier looking it is than my bronzer. So that's my bronzer, that's my contour. And so when I go into my contour, I'm just going to go with the side of my brush into it, just right in there, and just get it all over that edge. And then what you want to do is we contour the angle that we use, especially on our cheekbone. It changes based on what your face is shaped by. My face is kind of long and narrow, and so regardless of, you just kind of feel for this bone. Now you don't want to come all the way down here on that bone. You want to go right up against that bone, starting in the back and just kind of moving it forward. For me, because I want my cheeks to be, my face to be lifted and my cheeks to look fuller because I have kind of a narrow face, I'm going to go in kind of a horizontal line towards my nose, but I'm going to, so I'm going to kind of curve it, kind of like a Nike swoosh towards my nose. Okay. If I had a more round face, I would do more of a vertical line towards the corner of my mouth. So I'm doing this kind of swoosh, and you don't want to bring it down really low. You just want it up like this. Foreheads. If you have a wide forehead, you can do literally like a 3 or an E on your face. But you're going to bring the contour down as much as you need to create as much of a shadow. You can kind of tell I've already done the other side of my forehead. It just kind of diminishes it, and it just kind of creates that shadow. And don't worry, if you go down a little too far, you just take a little bit of your highlight and you just soften that up. Okay, jawlines. If you have a more square jawline, what you can do is you can go right on your jawline, just right along it. If you, like me, have a narrow jawline, I just like it a little more chiseled. So I just take it looking straight on where the shadow is, and I just move on up, just like that. Okay? Our contour has a little bit stiffer consistency than the highlight. It's not as soft and easily pliable. So some people feel like it's hard to get it out of the tin. You can always shoot like a hairdryer over it for a second and it'll soften it up. Another thing that's nice to do is wait and let it warm to your skin like I just did. So I placed it, and now I'm just going to blend it up and back. That's the key. We're always trying to lift up and back. You're just blending that out, okay? And if you ever come down too far into your jaws, you can just take your highlight and just sweep it out, and you're good to go. Okay, for nose. On the nose, Honestly, it's the very littlest of makeup. I'm just barely tapping it. You can barely even see it. And I'm actually barely touching my mouth. Nose. The point is nose contouring is just to create more of a shadow, make your nose disappear or just look more narrow and defined. Everyone's nose is shaped a little bit differently, so it depends on the shape of your nose on how to do it. Mine's not super big. I just like more definition, so I'm just going to lightly add a little bit of a shadow. And so that it doesn't go on forever because it is longer than it is like short, I'm going to kind of just come in like that. Do you see the difference that makes? But when you look over to the side, you can't see that I did anything. If the point is to keep the line as close together as you can, because the closer together it is, the more narrow your nose is going to be. So I guess if you had a super too narrow nose, you felt like it, you could draw these lines a little bit further out. So it's just kind of on the side of the bridge of your nose, not like on the side of your nose. On the side of your nose, I put my highlight, but on the side of the bridge of the nose creates that contour and that definition. And I'm just going to touch up my brightening highlight just along this middle, just to accentuate that and bring that out. Okay, lip contouring. I'm going to do one side of my lips so that you can see the difference that contour makes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just overline my lip, and then where my lip shadows in this Cupid's bow, and then in here, I'm going to add a little bit of contour. So what this does is it just makes my lips look a little fuller than they are without getting like lip injections or anything like that. So we're just playing with light, or playing with people's eyes with light. And so I'm just creating very little product, barely dipping, and I'm using the multitasker brush and just drawing that in. And so with a lip, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my brightening highlight and just on this part of our lip that loses its pigment, I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight, barely any, just the slightest amount. And then I'm also right here on this outer corner going to add it kind of above where I put that contour. And then I'm just going to use my finger to kind of tap that in. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for a neutral lip and just make my lip up here. I don't know, just to find, I'm using a color called Ballerina. I did saffron first. Ballerina, this is my favorite combo. And then a little bit of petal there in the middle. Do you notice how much fuller my lip looks over here than it does over here, just from doing that contouring? Also, I don't want to discount the blush. I'm going to throw a little bit of blush right above where I put that contour on the apple of my cheek. And you can kind of see how that just kind of completes and gives me a little bit of color. Blush kind of goes above where contour went. You see the difference that makes? And do you see the difference on my lip? So I'm going to go ahead and quickly do the other side. So that is a 101 on contouring, and what I want you to understand is start where you want. When I first started this, it was mostly just my cheeks and maybe a little my forehead jawline. I didn't really do the nose thing because it took a while for me to get that. That's a little bit, and the lips, that's something that I've just recently started doing. A lot of days, I just throw it on my lips. But if you want fuller looking lips without lip injections, there's the way to do that. But also just one of the things to remember with the contour is you want to stop it about here, or just when your face, you want to take it along this bone until it gets to the mushy, squishy part, and you want to stop when you get to that squishy part of your cheek. And other than that, you've seen in some of my other videos, it really is not a precise science. It can look nice just going at it. You just need to follow along with the shape that your face is. And this cream makeup is so easy to work with that if you feel like you came down so far, you just swipe it away with your brush. Just throw in a little bit more highlight. It's very movable until you set it, and then you're good to go. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions specifically about contouring, just message me. And honestly, when you get your makeup, I'll get on the FaceTime call with you. I'll talk you through it and you will be confident. It just takes a little bit of practice and it's something new to learn. So I know you can do it. And let me know if I can help you with anything else.